YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm really excited to showcase a car that I'm particularly excited about and very proud of. This is a 94 Acura Legend GS 6-speed sedan in Sherwood Green over Ivory that I've spent roughly the last year and a half taking from, as they say, rags to riches. This car needed a lot of work, and in this video I'm going to walk you through the checklist, an excerpt of that anyway, because as any restoration expert knows, these things are never done. And the deeper you dig into it, as my boss at work would say, it's like peeling off the layers of an onion. It just gets deeper. But this car is finally at a status where I can personally say I would feel comfortable showcasing it at a car show event or a National Acura Legend meet or something of that along those lines. And so I feel it appropriate to go ahead and share it with you. We're going to do a walk around of the car. I'll walk you through that checklist, and I have one other treat for you. And that bonus content is I brought the 95 Legend LS Coupe 6-speed, which is the same color code. And these cars essentially, from a mechanical perspective, from a cosmetic perspective, aside from having a different number of doors, they are twins. And so this is an interesting scenario where I actually have two sets of Legend twins right now, a coupe and a sedan 6-speed combo in Desert Mist Metallic, a coupe and a sedan 6-speed combo in Sherwood Green Metallic. So at some point, if anybody in the YouTube land wants to be a co-driver, I'd love to get all four together for a separate video. In the meantime, let's dig into this GS sedan, talk a little bit about the process that it's gone through, and we'll give you the up close and personal. So to kick things off, I have to give credit where it's due. This car actually came to the collection because of a YouTube comment. So my friend Edgar in Southern California posted a sentence to the effect of, "Are you interested in a sedan twin to your coupe?" And I said, let's talk about it. So this happened to be just a couple weeks before the Radwood show in Southern California in 2022. And the car at that time was based at his workplace in San Pedro. So I arranged to meet up with him and go check it out. And the car had been mechanically loved by him. It had a newer Type 2 replacement motor. It ran and drove, it sounded great, but cosmetically it had gone downhill, especially in the last few years. And so I really was eager to see what I could do with it. In fact, I was about done with the LS Coupe, and so I thought this is kind of perfect. I can transition from one to the other and see what I could do with this gem. So the car came on a transport truck, and the process kind of started from there. So the most noticeable upgrade you'll notice is the full respray. This was a Apex Wetworks paint job that they did. And I can't say enough about Isaac and the rest of the team at Apex. They are really wizards of their craft. So before I run down the complete checklist of items done on the restoration for the sedan, I want to talk about how the two restorations mirrored each other. And by that I mean I used most of the same resources for both cars. And that's because the Legend sedan and coupe are derivatives of each other. And a lot of the parts, especially the interior, dash, console, and things of that nature, are plug and play. So this interior on the coupe, you can see, has reupholstered leather from Trim Fit Upholstery here in the Phoenix area. I ended up using the same shop. Naro over there is a awesome technician, very skilled in his art. A lot of people asked if this is a kit. This is not a kit like a CatSkin or leatherseats.com. These are actually hand-cut panels in the design of the OEM seats. Let's take a glance under the hood. We're looking at a 3.2 liter, 230 horsepower V6. The sedan and coupe are both unmodified in terms of the performance equipment. Now, one advantage that the sedan had over the coupe was that it did run and drive, and it ran very well. As a matter of fact, that Type 2 is a replacement motor. The one here in the coupe is the original, but if anybody remembers the channel from, oh, I guess it'll be 3 years ago this fall, this car was kind of limping along. It had blown head gaskets and all sorts of other problems. This one is a newer motor. However, even though Edgar had done a number of maintenance items when it was installed. I went ahead and had the car gone through by Hanman Auto Care in Tempe, Arizona, to take care of some of the notorious legend checklist items, and among those are a distinct overview of the cooling system to make sure everything there is top-notch, as well as a clean out of the EGR system, which is known on these cars to clog up, and then of course some of the standard maintenance that's due for a lot of interference engine Hondas, including the timing belt and water pump. And by the way, those parts are getting extremely difficult to find. Anybody in the Legend community will know that, especially for the Type 2, because the water pump is actually different for that car. I was able to find one for both of these cars actually on eBay. It was a new in the box, kind of new off the shelf scenario, and I really lucked out on that. So this car is good for another 90,000 miles, or probably 9 years or so. Let's give you a full inside look, literally, at the GS sedan. This car needed some love. It's 30 years old. The body has 204,000 miles on it, so a refresh is somewhat expected. So this car got really taken all the way down to just the steel floor. I had replacement carpet added. The two front seats were reupholstered. Newer Type F OEM floor mats. A completely refinished console. This was done by a company called Craft Customs in Texas. A new shift plate there where it says 6-speed. Those are aftermarket reproduction. The steering wheel was redone in wood and leather, also by Craft. The dash on this car has a few teeny little cracks in it, but knowing what I went through on the Coupe to get that dash replaced, it was a very large undertaking, and you reach a point where you have to draw the line somewhere in the pursuit of perfection. I guess that was a Lexus phrase. But here's the back. Edgar actually had, or a prior owner had, tray tables screwed into the back of the seats there, so there are a couple little teeny holes there. But the back seat I did not have reupholstered. It was already in very nice shape. The only piece I had redone was the section here that's facing the sun in the window, and Naro was able to patch in a couple replacement panels there for just that area specifically. The center console lid was done to match as well. Full disclosure, I will also show you the trunk, even though there's not much to talk about there. It's got a few stains in the carpet here, but it is equipped with a full-size matching refinished GS 16-inch spare wheel wrapped in a Michelin tire that matches the rest of the tires on the car. I won't likely be doing a complete cost breakdown on this restoration like I did maybe on the blue TSX, but I did want to convey that to do a full start to finish process like this the right way is not cheap. Between these two cars, you're looking at about 50,000 bucks, and that's with the cars being cheap, or in the case of the Coupe, that was free. But then the process starts from there, and it is very involved. Everything is logged in a spreadsheet for each of my cars, and this one is no exception. So in alphabetical order, I'm going to give you a list of 60 things that were done. That's not even everything. I carved out some of the more minuscule items, but this car was originally from Seattle, Washington. I'm going to put this here so it's not shaking. And so I got them to send me a plate frame. The airbox sticker is a replacement, battery hold down bracket, new battery, OEM. The beauty bar, which is kind of just a piece that covers over some screws that attach the front bumper, binder of records. I repainted some stuff behind the grille. Brake calipers were refinished from red to silver. There was a brake indicator because of a sensor in the taillight. Brochures, OEM bumper lights versus the clear ones. New carpet from stock interiors, new console lid, refinished console, Type 2 blue coolant, and oil change. Clean up the door jambs, drive belts, driver side wind mirror replacement. Did that one because it was floppy. A new complete driver door, in fact. That car came off a junkyard car because the molding gaskets on the original one were flapping in the breeze. EGR system clean out, e-brake adjustment, engine detail, complete OEM exhaust. This car had aftermarket when I got it. The front driver's side fender had to be replaced because of a indentation. Leather on the front seats, wheel refinish, headlight and corner light. This car had very fogged up, yellowed headlights. Hood struts, it was missing a jack kit. I got license plate bolts that were OEM. Non-locking lug nuts. There were 2 broken lug studs on the right rear. Repainted the muffler. Full paint job. The pedal stopper pads, the radiator cap. Replacement radio. Refinished the chin spoiler in black. It was previously color coded. The windshield washer fluid cap was replaced. The roof rail moldings here were replaced. Where do we go from here? The shift knob plate, speaker grill fabric was painted, added the spoiler, added leather and wood to the steering wheel, removed some aftermarket stereo wiring, new thermostat, new timing belt, water pump, removed the tint, got my plates with historic tags, underhood insulation removal, that was very frayed, treated the weather stripping, removed all the wheel arch moldings. This car had moldings on the back of the doors as well as around each fender, which is a fine look, but I wanted a more clean body appearance. Wheel well cleanup, window moldings, front and back. In this case, they're still a little bit cracked, but we were able to reuse the existing OEM moldings. Got a window sticker thanks to my friend Jason. This windshield cowl had to be replaced in here, or repainted rather. New windshield as well, and new wipers. 60 items. It's taken me a year and a half, and as you can see, this is a labor of love. Anybody who knows these cars knows that they are extremely rewarding to drive, and I hope that in the future, when I let this car go, because I can't justify keeping 5 Legends, I want this to go to somebody who definitely will recognize and appreciate all of that effort. A little gratuitous walk around of the coupe. There's always an ongoing debate in the Legend community about whether the coupes or the sedans have a more attractive body style. I'm kind of impartial. I grew up, my first exposure to a second-gen Legend was my mom's 93 L sedan, but my first Legend that I really kind of kept long-term was my 94 LS Coupe. So I think they're both kind of, as they would say, timeless designs. And I'm still in touch with the original owner of this coupe. She is a total sweetheart and lives in the local area here. So I will continue to give it a good home as long as I possibly can. So as the sun comes peeking over the horizon here in Arizona, I want to thank you for being part of the channel and thank you for being part of this adventure. I really enjoy undertaking these kind of projects because of the positive feedback and really the sense of community around these cars. I've been an advocate for the Acura brand for many years now, and I have a special fondness for these cars specifically because I grew up around Acura Legends and Integras and Vigors back in the late 90s, and so it's fun to see these cars preserved, and I consider this kind of the new generation of future collectible cars. And you know, to drive around in a 1994 car these days, when I graduated high school in 2000, would have been like driving a 1970. But the Legend, in terms of design anyway, is a pretty modern look, and I think they're even attractive to this day. So those of you who are part of the National Acura Legend Meet definitely get it, and I appreciate the companionship that you all provide. And as always, thanks for watching the channel.